Hey everyone, it's Dale again from the WebPub class, and this is part 2 of our discussion of cascading style sheets, or CSS. So we're picking up where we left off from part 1. I do want to point out a couple of things before we continue. I'm here in my index page and our index.html, and you can see I have the style sheet attached. But if I go to my other pages, which I haven't filled out with content yet, I need that style sheet also attached on those other pages for the style sheet to apply to them as well. So if you forget to do that, you'll have style issues. The other thing to point out is you'll notice I have a little bit of style here built into the code. I had applied originally that I wanted my background color is red and my text is white. Most browsers will read past that and go ahead and apply your style sheet, but sometimes you will have conflicts with that depending on the browser. So it's best, you don't have to, but you can go in and get rid of all that old style that you had already applied and make sure that just the style sheet itself is there. Okay, so now that we have got those in place, we're ready to continue on and talk about how CSS can help with the definition of your site and the layout of your site. And to do that, we have to start talking about classes and IDs. So the big thing that you're going to hear repeatedly is that classes can be used multiple times on a page. ID can only be used once. So let's start first with classes. And sometimes you need those style elements to be used across different parts of your site. So again, a class is what you'd want to be able to use that multiple times. Using the format we're about to show you, you will define the class with a period on the style sheet. So we'll do that here in a second. And we can create as many special classes as we need. And again, you can use that class as many times as you want to on a page. So let's go in here to our style sheet. You'll remember this is all we've done so far with our style. And let's define, or let's create a class called small. So let's say we want some small fonts somewhere on the site or on the page. So again, we define a class with the period. We use the curly braces in style. And so here I'm going to do font size as the property, and now the value is 8 pixels because I want it to be small. Remember, we end each property line with a semicolon, and I want this to be in italics as well. So I'm going to do that. So now I have created this class called small. And so now I can go back into my HTML and let's say I want to add a footer down here, or what would appear to be a footer. And how I would do so is within the p tag, now I have this class small that I can do. So it will be able to register that I want this to have those same style elements as we just defined. So I'm just going to say copyright 2016, and that's all within that p tag, but only for the one with the class labeled small. So let's now refresh here, and you can see we have this very small, almost footer-like part down here, and the small applied. So now if I wanted to go back for some reason and make this one small, I could do the same thing just by doing that. Not that I would want to, but I just want to show that you can use it multiple times. So now you can see not only did it change the font size, it made it italics because that's how I've defined it within the style sheet. I'm going to get rid of this because I obviously don't want that in the middle of my content, but that is one way you can do so by creating a class. Now we can also create classes that can be applied to any element, or you can create classes for specific elements. So for example, we can make a special class that applies only when used to paragraphs. So if I went back into my style sheet, and let's go back here, now this would be defining the class small only when used inside of a p tag. So again, we do the curly brackets, curly braces, and we do that same 8 pixels and font style italic. And so this class we could use anywhere, so we could put this in an H1, we could put this in an unordered list or an ordered list. This one would only apply to the class small that's used inside the p tag.